bit of a different start for today. I think I might have mentioned that I was hoping at one point to do some kind of long walking. So yeah, welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, it doesn't usually start this. Usually there's more books involved, but fear not, there are still books involved today. I thought I had a few spare hours, and for Christmas, I think it was maybe last year, I got this book, which is a New Forest, Hampshire and South Downs Outstanding Circular Walk. So I thought I'd try one out today. Yeah, I'm just about ready to go. I'll try and film a little bit of, all of this, my walk, and show you a bit of the walk as I go along. But hopefully, if I don't get lost. But yeah, all in the car park now, ready to go. And yeah, hopefully enjoy something a little bit different this week. Thanks. So back after the walk, looking like a bit of a drowned rat, but yeah, I thought I might be able to do a bit of talking or just kind of narration while I was walking, but it was actually a lot harder than I initially planned due to the mud, the rain, and a couple of the bridleways actually being closed. So I should probably check that out before I do go on a walk. But actually, that book was really good. The maps in it were great, so I could see ways to kind of find alternate routes. Yeah, I think it was a total of 4.28 miles. Well, actually, I think my watch started a bit late, so yeah, just about 4.5 miles, which yeah, not bad. So for a good starting route, so enjoy that. And yeah, maybe what I'll do is I'll probably say bye now and then cut into me back by the bookshelf and chat maybe a little bit about some of the walking books I really like. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit.
Hi, I'm back by the bookshelves. It's taken me a bit of time since to record this video. I just haven't been feeling too well. I'm going to put that down more to go into soft play areas with a toddler than actually walking in the rain and getting a cold that way. But yeah, I wanted to just dedicate the rest of this video to some of my favourite books about walking. I've got a couple here, well, three primarily that I want to talk about. And the first one I'm going to talk about is A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. This was the first kind of book, kind of travel log book I'd ever picked up really and read, and it's fantastically funny. I love the kind of the whole idea of walking the Appalachian Trail. I think it's a really unique kind of goal to set yourself. You know, like doing a 6 to 9 month walk in the wild, getting back to nature, learning to survive by yourself. I just, you know, I also watched a couple of YouTube videos around people who are walking on the Appalachian Trail as well at the same time. But I really like this book. I thought Bill Bryson was really funny in the way you know, he described it, his experiences on the trip, the fact he went with a friend who wasn't a walker, who was struggling the whole time, but also that the struggle's part of it. And yeah, and also I like the idea. I think there's a, you know, walking's really great for your mental health, but I think there's also this idea that the people who do, you know, go on these long, really long walks, it's like there's something slightly mad about it. Like that, you know, why would you want to do such a long walk for such a long time? There must be something wrong. You must be trying to deal with something, which can be the case. You know, there's a book in here I'm going to talk about, which is, or two books at least, which are definitely a bit around that. But I think this was just like, well, you can just go for a walk to prove something to yourself because you want to, because it's fun. You know, because you have a great adventure, because it's a great experience. And I thought that was really interesting. And you can do it at your own pace as well. I think that was the other nice thing, is that you know, it's about the goals you set yourself as well, rather than having to compete with anyone else. And that's why I really liked Walking the Woods. And similarly, I really liked it's slightly walking, it's also traveling, but Notes from a Small Island. So there's a bit about, you know, there's other forms of travel obviously in this book, but this was Bill Bryson when he was about to leave England to go back to America, talking about his travels around and visiting some of his favourite places and places he'd never been to in England. And personally, I loved it because, especially down the south, there's a lot of places that I visited and a lot of places I walked, and it's always nice reading someone else's point of view. But again, really funny, and having Bill Bryson, who is American, his observations on things which are so like typically or traditionally English, they're really funny as well. So both Bill Bryson books I've read, so Walk in the Woods and Notes from a Small Island, really good, really funny, highly recommend. The next book I'm going to recommend isn't so much on the light-hearted funny side, and that is The Salt Path by Raina Wynn. And so in this book, Raina and her husband, they've just lost their family home. Her husband has got basically a critical illness. They don't know how long he's got left to survive, or, you know, even not just to survive, but to have a good you know, standard of living as well. And they just decide, well, rather than, you know, he's got like chronic back pains, lots of problems, rather than just kind of staying around one of their friends' houses, that they're going to walk the southwest coast path, all kind of around all around Cornwall down towards Poole, and they're going to camp along the way, and they're just going to do that long walk. And it's about how, you know, two people fighting nature, basically fighting their situation, their circumstance, and, you know, finding some kind of form of peace whilst doing that. And it's a truly, truly lovely book. Again, someone who lives in the south, definitely found a lot of the places that they were visiting. Obviously, it's always great to see those places being visited and hear someone else's experience of them. But really, really lovely book. She's got two more, The Wild Silence and Landlines. I've got Landlines, but I know The Wild Silence comes in between, so I'm waiting to get that one before I carry on. But that's really good. Now the next book I haven't actually read, but I'd be remiss to put it up because my wife really loved it, and I've seen the film, which is Wild by Cheryl Strayed. Again, this is very much along the lines of someone going on a walk to overcome something, to get through something, to work through something that's going on in their life. And the film was great, but my wife also said that the novel, or not novel, the book itself is fantastic as well, so worth checking out as well. And I also feel like I'd be remiss to talk about walking and walking books without probably the biggest influence on me wanting to go on big walks is The Fellowship of the Ring. Obviously, I think anyone of a certain age who's into fantasy, the idea of going on these big quests, treks, you know, carrying your life on your back, owes a little bit to Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, and that the journey that the characters go on there. So I definitely have to point that one out as, yeah, it's a fiction walking book, but it is a great walking book. So want to highly recommend that. I also want to point out, like, another big influence on me wanting to go on walks was the YouTuber Abby Barnes. They are fantastic. They do some really great content, documentary style walking videos. And again, some of that centers around mental health as well, which is really fantastic, but I'd say well worth checking out if you do get a chance. Moving on to something else, now that we've done kind of my favourite walking books, I want to read more, but I've only read a small selection so far, so just wanted to highlight those ones. Yeah, so moving on, I'm going to mention the record I've been listening to this month, which is Faye Webster's Underdressed at the Symphony. I love Faye Webster, really loved her album Atlanta Millionaires Club, and I saw her live with my sister a couple of years ago now at Wide Awake Festival in London, and her new album's just lovely, fantastic, great songs. I really like, what ones are my favourites at the moment? Feeling Good Today and Lego Ring are probably the ones I'm listening to the most on this album, and Underdressed at Symphony, the title track. I just love the arrangements. I love the mood and tone that she sets. It's quite calming, very chilled out. I'm seeing Faye Webster 2 months away in May at Brighton's Great Escape Festival, so really looking forward to that. But yeah, if you do get a chance, do check out Faye Webster's Underdressed at the Symphony. And then the other thing that's been taking up my time, and I haven't really talked about this kind of part of hobbying, or one of my hobbies recently, which is board games. And I've been playing with my wife Ticket to Ride Legends of the West, and we've just finished the legacy version of it. So if you've ever played Ticket to Ride, it's collecting cards of certain colours, playing those cards, lay tracks to basically create routes between certain destinations to get points for those routes. With the legacy version, you start with a small map of America, very small, just the west coast. East coast. You start with the East Coast, and then as you go on, you fill out the board. The board gets bigger. There's lots of different scenarios within the game. Really enjoyed it. Didn't enjoy it as much as some other legacy games we've played, such as like Pandemic Legacy. I think that one just had a couple of more, the way that the Pandemic had certain things that affect your character that you're playing, and how you added things on and upgraded your character as you went along, where this one doesn't really do that. It's more because it's a competitive one rather than a one that it's not co-op. I just felt like it lacked a little bit in that kind of theming of the legacy, whereas the legacy was more about the board expanding as opposed to your characters actually growing or having new moves or being able to grow your character, or even have consequences for your character. But still really enjoyed it. We played 12 games of it, got us to like the table every night to play it, so really enjoyable. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for this week. I'm sorry I've not been feeling 100% fit this week, but hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the walking bit at the beginning of the video as well, and yeah, looking forward to speaking to you next time. Have a great week. Bye.